Shalom Akim, this the brother CHAARAWTAZA, GMSORLANDO, GMS Florida. And to say Shalom to Allah Akim out there, teaching his word in truth and sincerity. May the Most High bless you and your families, man. May the Most High bless the elders of Great Millstone and keep them, make them to do the things which are right before his eyes. So, this is what I want to do. So, last week we were out. Let me say, a couple weeks ago we were out, right? And this Israelite guy came up. You know, he was a babe in the truth, and he came up and he, you know, when we was out there talking to the white lady, and at the end of the conversation, when the white lady left, you know, he started to speak to us about the truth and things like that. And the conversation kind of went into, he went into the Book of Enoch and things like that, and we told him, like, yo, the Book of Enoch, that book is not right, man. You know, you should put that book down. But at the time, I didn't have my Book of Enoch with me, so all I could tell him was, yo, in that book it says that Noah was white. In that book it says that angels had sex with women, and those things are not true according to the scriptures that we possess, the 1611 Bible. So what we're gonna do is, sometimes what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into this this Book of Enoch. I actually have I've read this book twice, the Book of Enoch, and I read it before I came into the truth. Just to give you a little bit of history, I was into the Rasta thing before I came into the truth, and inside of the Rasta thing, they deal with this Book of Enoch. They deal with Kabbalah. Kabbalah deals with magic. Okay, they deal with those things. And those were the things that I were on. So I read this book twice, okay, before I came into the truth. Now, in this book, the Book of Enoch, what it deals with what you call the Watchers, all right? Now, the Watchers, when it says the Watchers, it's a term that refers to the angels. The angels will be considered the Watchers. Now, in this book, it tells you that there are basically, you know, in so many words, two classes of beings. There were the Watchers, and there were the sons of men. It tells you that the Watchers, this is kind of sum up the book for you. It tells you that the Watchers, some of the Watchers rebelled from the Most High, and they came down to earth, changed their position, and began to dwell with men. And when they began to dwell with men, they seen the daughters of men, and that they looked good, so they had sex with them. This is what the book is telling you, okay? And when they had sex with them, they had giants, okay? And those giants started to devour the men, and eat everything that they possessed. So the Most High, you know, got mad with these angels and put them in hell in the middle of the earth. And bound them in hell. That's what he did, and put them in and put rocks on them. That's why when you watch that book, that's why you watch that movie Noah. That's why you see all that shit. Look like a fairy tale, right? But they're getting that from this Book of Enoch. That's why those angels, they were beings of light, but then they were encased in stone. They was walking around with the stone and shit, and the men always wanted to kill them. That's, if you read this Book of Enoch, I think it's on chapter, what is it? We was reading it the other day at camp. Just watch the camp video. GMS Orlando Camp 2. Watch that video on the Book of Enoch and you'll see what I'm talking about. But let's just get into it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the Book of Enoch, and I don't know what chapters. I'm not too good with the Roman numerals. It's CIV, whatever that is. Alright, I don't know what the C is. CIV, I don't know what chapter it is. Matter of fact, it's chapter CV. Whatever it is. Well, if you brothers know, you just write it in the comments. Alright? Verse 1, it says, after a time, my son Methuselah took a wife for his son Lamech. She became pregnant by him and brought forth a child, the flesh of which was as white as snow and as red as a rose. The hair of his head was white like wool and long, and whose eyes were beautiful. When he opened them, he illuminated all the house like the sun. the whole house abounded with light. And when he was taken from the hand of the midwife, opening his mouth, he spoke to the Lord in righteousness. Then Lamech his father was afraid of him, and flying away came to his own father Methuselah, and said, I have begotten a son unlike the other to other children. He is not human, but resembling the offspring of the angels of heaven, is of a different nature from ours, being altogether like unto us. His eyes are bright as the rays of the sun, his countenance glorious, and he looked not as if he belonged to me, but to the angels. I am afraid lest something miraculous should take place on the earth in his days. And now, my father, let me entreat and request you to go to our progenitor Enoch, and to learn from him the truth, for his resemblance is for his residence is with the angels. So we're reading about Noah. So it says on Noah's birth, Noah came out with white flesh, right? Now when we read the scriptures, okay, we know that white flesh is a curse. White flesh is leprosy. So then why would this holy child, okay, it's supposed to be a holy child in this book, why would this child, Noah, be born with white flesh? Now let's go and get that in the law. Let's get that. Let's prove it. That leprosy or white flesh is leprosy in the scriptures. Okay, so Leviticus chapter 13 verse 2, it says, and it's right here, it says, when a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or a bright spot, and it be in the flesh of his skin like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought to Aaron the priest, or to one of his sons, the priest. Now we skip down to verse 30. Alright, even blonde hair is leprosy. Numbers 12 and 10. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. So we see when in the scriptures in the Bible, when it says white as snow, it means leprous. Now check it out. It says, and Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not this sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, wherein we have sinned. Let her not be as one dead, of one whom the flesh is half consumed, when he cometh out of his mother's womb. And Moses cried unto the Lord, now heal her now. So this is a sickness. Heal her now, O God, I beseech thee. And the Lord said unto Moses, if it goes on and on, man. Let me see. And Miriam was shut out of the camp for 7 days, and the people joined. And the people journeyed not till Miriam was brought again. All right. So this is a sickness. This is a curse, leprosy. So when we read the book of Enoch, it says, she became pregnant by him and brought forth a child, and the flesh of which was white as snow and red as a rose, the hair of whose head was white like wool and long, and whose eyes were beautiful. Like this is not the Most High. The Most High wouldn't do that. He wouldn't make Noah be born. When we read the scriptures, we see what skin white as snow is according to the scripture. Well, let's get another one. He also said that his skin was red, right? It says, and red as his, it says, she brought forth the child, the flesh of which was as white as snow and red as a rose. Okay, so let's look up what red is in the scriptures. Genesis chapter 25 with Esau. Right? Genesis chapter 25, verse 25. It says, now this is on the concerning the birth of Esau and Jacob. It says, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old, and she bare him. The boys grew up, and Esau was a cunning hunter. So we see right here, this red is synonymous with Esau. This is not normal. That's why it mentions Esau's color. It's not normal. Then everybody was brown. Well, let's go to Genesis chapter 3. Let's look at Adam. Show you that people were brown. Sure. Genesis chapter 3. Okay, Genesis chapter 2. Alright, concerning Adam. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. 2 and 7. And the Lord formed God of the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into the nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Now, if man was taken from the dust of the ground, what color is the dust of the ground? It's brown. It's not white. So we know at this time the people were brown. But you had this one instant where this man was born and he was red. So why did they mention that he was red? Because it wasn't normal. Alright? And when you read the scripture, when you read the Bible, the scriptures about Esau, Esau wasn't a loved man. He wasn't beloved. He wasn't holy. He wasn't chosen. Alright? When you read about the leprosy, people's skin being white as snow, it was a curse. It wasn't something beloved. It wasn't something like, oh my God, he's an angel. Oh shit. No, it wasn't like that. It was like, oh shit, he's cursed. Oh, Miriam cursed, put her outside the camp. She got leprosy. Alright? So then why would the Most High make this holy child be born, and he's born with leprosy? And then his father is scared of him because he's saying, oh my God, he's an angel. Okay? Even the angels, let's get Ezekiel. See? Even the angels didn't even come down and reveal themselves as white. The angels weren't white. They're not white. Okay? This is Ezekiel chapter 1 verse 5. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of the four creatures, and it was as their appearance. They had the likeness of man. Every one had 4 faces, and every one had 4 wings. And their feet were straight feet, and the soles of their feet were like the soles of calves' foot, and they sparkle in the colors of burnished brass. You see that? Burnished brass is brown. It's a dark brown color. Okay? So we see that the angels are brown. When they come and they reveal themselves to men and they take on a likeness of men. Because the angels don't look like us per se. They don't have flesh. So when they come to the earth, they take on the likeness of men. You can read that in the book of Tobit. And when they take on the likeness of men, they look like man. And we read that Adam was brown. So obviously when they reveal themselves to men, they're going to be brown. So we see that this book of Enoch is totally wrong. Totally wrong, man. By saying that Noah was, it says that his flesh was white as snow and red as a rose, and the hair on his head was white like wool and long, and his eyes were beautiful. Like, this is wrong. It's not how, if it was written in the scriptures, he wouldn't be described that way. Because those things are curses, to have flesh as white as snow. In that culture, flesh white as snow was leprosy. Okay? The angels in that culture, the angels didn't look like have flesh white as snow or red, and the people didn't either. So we see that this book of Enoch is totally incorrect on this. But also it says, we go back to the book of Enoch, chapter CV, verse 4. His eyes are bright as the rays of the sun, his countenance glory, and he looks not as if he belonged to me, but to angels. Now they're saying that the angels look like this. We read in Ezekiel chapter 1 that the angels were like burnished brass. So we see that's incorrect. It says, I'm afraid lest something miraculous should take place on the earth in his days. And now, my father, let me entreat and request you to go to our progenitor Enoch and learn from him the truth, for his residence is with the angels. Now he's saying that this ain't my child. This child, Noah, is supposed to live with the angels. Now we see the angels are burnished brass when they reveal themselves to men. Not white as snow with red skin. Not looking like a peppermint. Alright, the angels don't look like peppermints. It says, or candy canes. Yeah, Noah came out, he's looking like a candy cane, according to this book. It says, and now, my father, let me entreat and request you to go to our progenitor Enoch and to learn from him the truth, for his residence is with the angels. When Methuselah heard these words of his son, he came to me at the extremities of the earth, for he had been informed that I was there. And he cried out, and I heard his voice, and I went to him, saying, behold, I am here, my son, since thou art come to me. He answered and said, on account of a great event have I come to thee, and on account of a sight difficult to be comprehended have I approached thee. And now, my son, my father, hear me, for to my son Lamech a child has been born, who resembles not him, and whose nature is not like the nature of man. His color is whiter than snow. See, his color is whiter than snow. Let's go back to Numbers. Right, so Numbers chapter 12 verse 10 again, to reiterate the point. Miriam became leprous, white as snow. Okay. All right. Now real quick, let's give you another example. 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 1. Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master, and honorable. Because of him the Lord had given deliverance unto Syria. He also was a mighty man of valor, but see that? But he was a leper. So this man was mighty in war. This man was honorable, and he was a great master. He was a great man with his master. All right, but he was a leper. He had leprosy. He wasn't normal. He was white as snow, and this was not normal. This was as a blot to him, man. Okay, showing you that being white as snow was not something great, a spectacular, or a gift, or you, oh man, you look like an angel. But no, it was looked down on. This man had all of this, but he had leprosy. And he went to Israel to try to go to the prophets to get rid of it. Alright? So it wasn't a great thing. The Most High would not do that. See, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. Let's go back to the book of Enoch. Alright, verse 11. Sorry, verse 10. It says, who resembles not him, and whose nature is not like the nature of man. His color is whiter than snow. He is redder than a rose. His hair of his head is whiter than white wool. His eyes were like the rays of the sun, and when he opened them, he illuminated the whole house. When also he was taken from the hand of the midwife, he opened his mouth and blessed the Lord of heaven. So when he was a newborn, he talked. He talked in his book. That's what they're saying. His father Lamech feared and fled to me, believing not that the child belonged to him, but that he resembled the angels of heaven. The angels don't look like this according to the scriptures. And behold, I am come to thee, that thou mightest point out to me the truth. Then I, Enoch, answered and said, the Lord will effect a new thing upon the earth. This have I explained and seen in a vision. Now let me ask you something, man. Let me ask you something. Let's think about this. When we read in the scriptures, we read about there's a law on leprosy. We read about certain people having leprosy and want to get rid of it, like Naam. We read about Miriam becoming leprosy and it's looked at as a curse. We see all of these bad things or bad vibes, however you say it, towards leprosy. Now let's think about it. These people, Miriam and Naam, and all this is after Noah. All right. Now Noah would be a great man. He would be the man that came through the flood because he was righteous and he had children. They repopulated earth, so they would be held up as the forefathers and the great man, right? Now, if this was the case, wouldn't it be so in this culture that leprosy will be held up in high esteem? If this was the case, if in the scriptures it was the case that, for one instance, let's say the Book of Enoch was true about this. For this one instance, just for the sake of conversation, if this was the case, that would mean that in the scriptures it would have to be the reverse. Anytime somebody had leprosy or they were white as snow, they would have to be reverenced, because that is how Noah was supposed to be. And Noah was thought to be of the appearance of an angel. So in the scriptures, if that was the case, then we would see, rather than leprosy and being white as snow as leprosy or something bad, we would then see it as something reverenced and good. But we don't see it in the scriptures. We don't. We only see it in the Book of Enoch. Okay? Why? Because the Book of Enoch is not the truth. It doesn't correlate with the scriptures at all. Let's keep reading. Verse 11. When also he was taken from the hand of the male, or verse 12. His father Lamech feared and fled to me, believing that the child belonged not to him, but that resembled the angels of heaven. And I beheld, and I am come to thee, that thou mightest point out the truth to me. Then I, Enoch, answered and said, the Lord will effect a new thing upon the earth. This have I explained and seen in a vision. I have shown thee that in the generations of Jared my father, those who were from heaven disregarded the word of the Lord. Behold, they committed crimes, laid aside their class. Now check it out. It said, now we're going to read it again, because this is the whole point of Enoch. It talks about the watchers committing the sin. All right, and then making man commit a sin. Okay, now check it out. This is another point. I have shown thee that in the generations of Jared my father, those who were from heaven disregarded the word of the Lord. Behold, they committed crimes, laid aside their class, and intermingled with women. So what is it saying? It's saying in the days past, before Noah, before you, before Lamech, angels came down. The angels rebelled against the Most High God, which we know in the scriptures they don't do. Angels rebelled against the Most High God, and they changed their states. All right, as it says, let me see. They changed their class. Now they're not in the class of angels no more. They're coming down. They're going to be in the class of men. They took wives, which we know in the scriptures angels don't marry. Okay? And they committed a crime. Now, what crime did they commit? Where is it in the scriptures that there is a crime for angels, or there's a law against angels sleeping with women? I don't know how it's possible, because angels are spirits. But if it was possible, where's there the law? There's no law on it. So let's get that. Right, Romans chapter 5, verse 13. For unto the law, sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed when there is no law. So how could these angels be sinning by having sex with women, if they could? Okay, there's no law on that. So that's another strike against it. Another thing. Well, that's it on that. We keep going. All right. It says that They disregarded the word of the Lord. Behold, they committed crimes, which we showed what crime did they commit? By sleeping with women. All right. They laid aside their class and intermingled with women. They laid aside their class. Now that doesn't happen. It says, and they intermingled with women. Okay. All right. For one, the angels don't have flesh like us. So even when they come down and they show themselves as men, they don't have flesh. It's just how they show themselves. That's the way you see them. But it's not the way that they are. How do we know that the angels don't have flesh? Right here, Hebrews chapter 1, verse 7. And of the angels he said, who maketh his angels spirits? Okay? And his ministers a flame of fire. The angels are energy. They're energy beings. They're spirits. They don't have flesh. Therefore, they cannot sleep with women. They don't have a fleshly rod, a fleshly penis to put inside of a woman's fleshly vagina. Just to, keep it clean. The angels don't have seed. They don't have sperm. Because they don't have flesh to produce sperm to make a woman become pregnant. That's how we know YAHAWASHI, who is of the seed of David, or the sperma of David, was born of a fleshly father whose name was Joseph. Alright? Matthew 22 and 30. For in the resurrection they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of the Most High God in heaven. So we see that angels don't marry. Now marriage is sex. I'm not going to go and prove that. It's just going to get long. But we know that marriage from the book of Genesis, alright, is sex. That's a part of marriage. So, and the angels don't have sex and they don't marry because they don't have flesh. They're spirits. Only we have flesh. And we have, a penis and testicles that produce sperm. And a woman has ovaries and eggs, ovaries and eggs that can to where they can have babies. Angels don't have those things. They don't have reproductive systems, according to the scriptures. All right, so we see that this can't, it says that they disregarded the word of the Most High. Behold, they committed crimes. We don't know what crimes they committed because it's not in the scriptures. They laid aside their class and intermingled with women. We don't know how they did that because in the scriptures it said that they don't have flesh. All right, they're spirits. All right, which makes it impossible for them to have sex with women. All right, and we see in the scriptures that they don't marry. All right, so it says, with them also they transgressed. How did they transgress with women? Where is it in the law that they can't have sex with women? It's not in the law, so it can't be a transgression. We know sin is the transgression of the law. All right? And they married with them and begot children. A great destruction therefore shall come upon all the earth, a deluge, a great destruction shall take place in 1 year. This child which is born to you shall survive on the earth, and his 3 sons shall be saved with him. When all mankind who are on the earth shall die, he shall be saved, and his posterity shall begot on the earth giants, not spiritual but carnal. Upon the earth shall a great punishment be afflicted, and it shall be washed from all corruption. Now therefore inform thy son Lamech that he who is born is his child in truth, and he shall call his name Noah, for he shall be to you a savior. And he and his children shall be saved from the corruption which shall take place in the earth, from all the sin and from all the iniquity which shall be consumed on the earth, consummated on the earth in his days. Afterwards shall great impiety take place. Then that which had been before the consummated on the earth. For I acquainted with holy mysteries, which the Lord himself has discovered and explained to me, in which I have read in a tablet of heaven. Okay, so that's basically it on that. Alright, so enough with that. So I showed you a couple points, and I showed you how it doesn't link up with the Bible. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the back of the book. Alright, I'll also read you the category of the book too. Alright, right here it says, the Book of Enoch the Prophet, one of the lost books of the Bible, translated by Richard Lawrence. The category that is classified in: philosophy. See this? Philosophy / religion / New Age. Okay, that's where it's categorized in. Philosophy, alright, which we don't deal with philosophy, / religion / New Age. This is from New Age religion. This is some new shit that they wrote. Let's read down to the bottom. On the back of the book. This is a reprint of the Book of Enoch the Prophet, a lost book, quotations, which was discovered in Abyssinia, which is now Ethiopia, in 1773 by Scottish explorer James Bruce. Why did he discover it in 1773? Okay, you got all these Ethiopians in Ethiopia. Out of all the Ethiopians, how the fuck did he discover it? And this is not in 1982 or 1930. This is in 1773. Ethiopia was still in their they weren't in a modern age. Okay, they weren't in an age where they were in another where they were taking up someone else's customs like today. You know, their culture is basically American culture to some extent. It wasn't like that. They were still in their, I don't want to say primitive, but that's the only way I can think of it. They were still in their primitive culture. And that culture wasn't primitive, but what I'm saying is they were still in their culture. Okay? They were in their culture. Okay, they still rode horses. They still had a lot of their traditions. So how is it that this man, white man, came in there and all of a sudden he discovered it? Alright, it says it was discovered by Scottish explorer James Bruce, written in the 2nd or 1st century BC. The Book of Enoch was a very influential source of early Jewish and Christian thinkers, including the authors of many of the New Testament books. We see that's not the truth, because it fucking the Bible and this contradicts each other. Alright, several familiar themes, such as the introduction of evil into the world by the fallen angels, the Messianic age, the new Jerusalem, the resurrection, and the final judgment, were all first written here. Alright, so they want you to come read this Book of Enoch first, and then you read the Bible, because they're saying that this came before the scriptures. Enoch's richness of detail and symbolism in describing the outer worldly visions of angels, demons in heavens, and Sheol, hell, which is supposed to be in the middle of the earth according to this book, are matched only in the Book of Revelations. Yet this book was never included in the canon. Like the Dead Sea Scrolls in the Nag Hammadi library, the Book of Enoch, translated from the original Ethiopian Coptic script, which is Ge'ez, is a rare and important resource that was suppressed by the early church and thought destroyed. You know why this was suppressed? Because this shit is bullshit. The book, if it was suppressed, the book was first translated by Richard Lawrence in 1821. It was published in a number of successive editions, culminating in the 1883 version, reprinted here in an expanded deluxe edition. So there you have it, the Book of Enoch. So there you have it. This is why we don't deal with the Book of Enoch, because of these things right here, the things that we pointed out earlier. All right, so once again, I'm CHAARAWTAZA. All praise to YAHAWASHI for giving me this knowledge to be able to teach you brothers and show you brothers things like this. You know, double honors to our elders. Our elders are great millstone. Alright? And peace and blessings to the brothers out there teaching the truth and sincerity. May the Most High bless you, brothers, and keep you sure, keep you safe. Alright, so, Shalom. YAHAWASHI, Barakatam Akim. Shalom.